This video is one of a short selection of videos I've got on factorizing. It introduces the idea of taking a large, usually algebraic expression, and then breaking it down into smaller parts which can be multiplied together to get the original one back. So it's easier to imagine and understand when you see it done. So let's just go through it and go through the process of factorizing and take some quite straightforward examples. So sometimes it is possible to decompose, if you like, or factorize an expression into its constituent parts or factors. So let's start. Let's say we wanted to factorize this. Now this is quite a complex expression. It's a cubic. It's got to the power of 3. It's got a squared term. It's quite difficult, this one. So this is complicated, and it's unlikely you will ever encounter any factorizing expression as complicated as this. But let's just think about it for the moment. Although you'll never encounter it, the principles can come out of here. So let's look at the principles of factorizing. Now I know that we can break this expression up into two parts. We can say it's 3x squared plus 2x minus 4 times, all of that, times 2x plus 2. Now that's factorized. Sometimes we can factorize this again, so we might have 1 factor, 2 factors, 3 factors, or whatever. But at the moment we've got 2 factors here. We've got this one and this one. So we've decomposed or factorized this into 2 parts. Now let's have a look at something we can do, something a bit more, a bit easier, a bit gentler for us. So here we want to factorize x squared plus 5x minus 14. We want to factorize that into 2 parts. The first thing we do is we can set up the brackets. Now the brackets are just empty, but we're going to have an expression in here multiplied by the expression over here. And when we multiply these two together, we'll get x squared plus 5x minus 14. So we start by just writing down what we know. We know that x times x is x squared. So we'll put an x here and an x here. X times x is x squared. So we've got the first one. Now look at the minus 14 and work out the factors. Now first of all, it has to be negative. So one factor has to be positive and the other one has to be negative. The product must be minus 14, but also the sum of the two of them must be 5, plus 5. So what we can do, the best method here is to write down everything, all the factors of this. So we have 14 and minus 1, it'll give us minus 14. Minus 14 and 1, it'll give us minus 14. When we multiply minus 14 times 1, we get minus 14. Minus 7 and 2, well, minus 7 and 2 is minus 14. And minus 2 and 7 is minus 14. Now we want the middle one to be plus 5. So the difference between those must be 5, and there it is. This one is the product, minus 2 times 7 is minus 14, and the sum is 5. Minus 2 plus 7 is plus 5. So if we write this down, we get the factors of that. So now x minus 2 times x plus 7, those are the factors. Multiply the two together and we get back to the original expression. So we have decomposed this one, we have factorized it into 2 parts. Now factorize this one. Now this is a lot more difficult because here there's a number, a constant in front of the x squared, 6. So we need 6x squared plus 12x plus 6. Nonetheless, we can go about it in the same method. Well, we could do this, I suppose. We could take out 6, and that's a factor, because 6 multiplied this by this lot that's factorizing it. We need to go further. There is another way of doing this, by the way, which I'm alluding to. So set out the brackets. Now the factors of x squared, well, x and x gives us x squared, x times x, x squared. The 1 and 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So now we've got 2 in here. Now we need to sort out the signs, plus and minuses in here. Well, the factors of 6x plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 6, these factors are 6 x plus 1 times x plus 1. So we've broken it into 3 factors. So that's clever, because here we took out the 6 into 6x squared just goes 1x squared. We don't write the 1, but it's there, so it's just x squared. 6 into 12 is 2x. 6 into 6 is 1. So when we multiply that, we get back to the first expression. Then we factorize the second one, this one here, and we factorize it, and we find it's x plus 1. So we have 3 factors here. This one has 3 factors, like that. I did say there was another way of doing it, and let's have a look at that. So here it is again, same one, and the factors of 6 are 6, 3, 2, 1. We can divide 6 by 6, we can divide it by 3, we can divide it by 2, and we can divide it by 1. So those are the factors of 6. The middle term is 12, plus 12. They're all pluses, so 12. And then we've got 6 over here. So we've got, now we can write down the factors of 6 here. We've got 6, 3, 2, 1. Those are the 6, 3, 2, 1. And the factors of 6 are 6, 3, 2, 1 on this side as well. So now we've got the two sides, coincidentally in this case I suppose, they're the same. But I need a 12x in the middle. So start off by putting in 6x here and a 6 at the end, and then multiply it out and see what you get. Well, 6x times x is 6x squared. X times 6 is 6x, and 1 times 6 is 6. So this one here is a problem. We haven't got the 12x there. But if we if we 6x and 6, so the middle term, I should say, sorry, is 6x plus 1 times 6x, which is actually the 12x. So we have got the 12x. Sorry, I'm just a bit confused. So let's run down this again and make sure we're clear. We want to factorize this part here, 6x squared plus 12x plus 6. We write down the factors of 6. Those are all the factors of 6, which are, incidentally, the same factors as over here, because we've got a 6 and a 6. The middle term is 12. So now we write down 6, 3, 2, 1. And we're looking for the middle term to be 12. So we start off by 6x plus 6. And if we take x times x, 6x, we've got 6x squared. And if we take 1 times 6x plus 6x, that's 12x. And 6 times 1 is 6. So we could take out the 6 out of here again. That's the same. So in other words, we got the same answer. So it is correct. Often when you're doing factorization, you've got to be very careful. You've got to really think, make sure you don't miss something, or you're not adding something twice, or uh, you think you've got a product when you don't. You have got the right product when you don't. So be very careful when you deal with something like 6x times x. Well, that gives you 6x squared. 6 times 1, that's 6. Now the middle part, make sure you got 6x and the 6x on the outside. So you're adding 6x to the middle one, 6x, giving you 12x. And if you're unhappy about any of this, just go back and multiply it. There is a video showing you how to multiply in algebra, and you can just simply write it down, multiply, and you will get to that number, or that expression. So that's all we need to do in this class. It's just one of several classes on factorizing, but that's the essence of what it is. It's breaking a large number up into its component parts and then multiplying those, and if you multiply them you get back to the original one. So that's the idea of factorizing. So let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.